At some point in time, you've probably seen some photos of what's called the California Superbloom. This usually happens after a very rainy winter, and you'll have hillsides covered in very colorful wildflowers. And there are some experts saying that we're likely going to see a California Superbloom this year because of all the rain that we picked up. But I realized I don't actually know very much about this, so I figured it'd be good to kind of dive into this concept to see what is the most important information about the California Superbloom. So just going into Meteorology Insider here, have you ever heard of the California Superbloom? Every spring, a beautiful phenomenon occurs in California where the hills and valleys come to life with a vibrant display of wildflowers. Now that says every spring, and I'm sure there's always some flowers popping up, but I do know there's some kinds of flowers that don't pop up every single year. They actually wait for a very rainy year, and then they all come up at once. So probably depends on the flowers and the area that you're talking about at the interval of recurrence. So this superbloom is a natural event that has captivated the attention of locals and tourists alike. In this blog post, we'll explore what causes this stunning event and why it's so important to California's ecosystem. So definitely big for tourists and anybody who has an Instagram account as well. That was something our anchor said this morning. We ran a story on the California Superbloom, and he said he thinks there's a correlation between the time that Instagram came out and the number of people that go to see the California Superbloom just because they want to get that amazing photo of themselves in front of some very brightly colored flowers. And some of the photos that come out are absolutely amazing. So don't blame any photographers out there. So what is the California Superbloom? The California Superbloom is a rare event. By rare event, that kind of goes against what they're saying about it happens every year. And yeah, I think it is. It's not every year that you see it. I remember after the crazy rainy season in, I believe, 2017, that was, I believe, our last big one. So California Superbloom is a rare event that occurs when a combination of factors creates the perfect conditions for wildflowers to bloom en masse. California's Mediterranean climate, with wet winters and dry summers, sets the stage for this event. However, the Superbloom requires an above average amount of rainfall in the winter months, followed by warm temperatures and plenty of sunshine in the spring. So what's going to be interesting is there's a few different requirements here. It says above average rainfall. We definitely got that. A lot of our cities have picked up 150% to even 200%, so twice as much rainfall as you would normally see in a given year. The one question mark, though, is whether we'll have the warm temperatures, because the last 3 to 4 months have been pretty cold out there. We've been below average, and this weekend will be the first time in a long time where it feels like we're actually back above average for our temperatures, but then we're trending back cold again. So we'll see if things will finally start to warm up, because it does look like that's a requirement to the Superbloom. So when these conditions are met, wildflowers such as poppies, lupins, and bluebells can grow in abundance, creating a sea of colors across the landscape. And some of the photos do look pretty incredible. The Superbloom can occur in different parts of the state, but some of the most famous locations include Anza Borrego Desert State Park, Antelope Valley California Poppy Reserve, and Carrizo Plain National Monument. So those are some of the places that you could go check out if in fact this ends up occurring this year. So why is the California Superbloom important other than just getting an awesome Instagram photo that gets tons of likes and comments? The California Superbloom is not just a beautiful sight to behold, but it also plays a crucial role in the state's ecosystem. Wildflowers are an essential food source for pollinators such as bees and butterflies. As these insects visit the flowers to collect nectar and pollen, they inadvertently transfer pollen from one flower to another, aiding in the process of plant reproduction. So, yeah, it's not just pretty, it's also a big part of the ecosystem that sustains lots of life, like your bees and your butterflies, and we know how important bees are, especially to not only the California ecosystem, but you could say the world and crops and everything that we rely on. So in addition to supporting pollinators, the Superbloom also provides habitat for other wildlife. Small mammals such as rodents and rabbits use the flowers as cover, and birds such as larks and sparrows feed on the seeds that flowers produce. So kind of nice. The rodents and rabbits get some cover from the flowers, and then the birds, well, they maybe don't have as many rodents or rabbits to eat because of all the cover. Then they can just feed on all of the seeds that the flowers produce. Nice little picture of what the natural ecosystem looks like. So, moreover, the Superbloom has economic benefits for California. The event attracts tourists from around the world who come to witness the beauty of the wildflowers. Local businesses such as hotels, restaurants, and gift shops benefit from the influx of visitors, boosting the state's economy. So how can you experience the California Superbloom? If you're interested in experiencing the California Superbloom for yourself, there are a few things to keep in mind. So these are probably just going to be some tips if you want to go check out this phenomenon, if in fact it does end up happening, which it most likely will. We picked up a lot of rainfall this year. So firstly, the exact timing and location of the Superbloom can vary from year to year depending on weather conditions. Typically, the event occurs between March and May, but it's best to check with local parks and authorities for up-to-date information. So we're already into it. It's early April right now, so there actually might already be some places that have the Superbloom in effect. That might be something to check up on. I'll check up on that after this video. So secondly, it's essential to be mindful of the environment when visiting the Superbloom. Stick to designated trails and avoid trampling on flowers, as this can damage the delicate ecosystem. Remember to take any litter with you and avoid disturbing wildlife. That's actually interesting that was brought up in this article, is because in the story we ran this morning, some of the parks actually said they're going to be shutting down some of the trails and locking their entrances because it draws in so many tourists now that Instagram's invented that people end up trampling a lot of the flowers, and it's very bad for the ecosystem. So yeah, if we want to continue to enjoy viewing this amazing event, we also have to, you could say, respect the environment, because it's kind of the tragedy of the commons. If too many people go and trample all the flowers, then the Superbloom doesn't happen again the next year or the next time you have a lot of rainfall. So yeah, always important to stay on the trail and be mindful of your surroundings. So finally, be prepared for crowds. That ties into the last point pretty well. The Superbloom is a popular event, and parking can be limited, especially on weekends. Consider carpooling or taking public transportation to reduce congestion. So, in conclusion, the California Superbloom is a natural event that showcases the beauty and diversity of the state's flora and fauna. It's a reminder of the intricate connections between plants, animals, and the environment, and the important role they play in sustaining life. Whether you're a nature lover, a photographer, or simply looking for a unique experience, the Superbloom is a sight to behold. So, yeah, what we learned, Superblooms usually happen when you have above average rainfall, followed by above average temperatures, or at least warm temperatures, and it will get warmer because we are getting into spring at this point. And then flowers that may have remained dormant for a while, waiting for that big rainfall year, just spring up. The hillsides are covered in all kinds of different colors. And then it's great not only for viewing, but for the ecosystem in general. Lots of pollinators enjoy all the flowers out there, as well as birds, rodents, bunnies. Just a nice sight. So if you do head out there, remember, good to respect the environment, but overall it could be pretty cool to see. So I might try to look up some events where this, or some places where this might be happening, and head out there myself. If I take some drone footage, I'll post it to this channel. So you can look out for that, and you can also go look at the California Superbloom yourself. Thanks for watching.